Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Now we got week 2 spread predictions and survivor pool. Now last week I didn't post a video, but I am in a pool for picking the spread and survivor pool. So I pulled up my record from last week. Week 1 predictions, I went 12-4 in my predictions. In the spreads, however, I went 9-7, which, week 1, it's hard, to make your spread, but predictions, I went 12-4. And then my survivor pick for week 1 was the Broncos, which we successed. So my survivor pick I will save for last in the video, but let's get into week number 2. Now we did have the Thursday game. Like I said, I am in a pool. I did pick Green Bay -3.5, which they did win yesterday by 9. So I am 1-0 in the predictions and the spread this week. So let's start into the Sunday games. The Browns versus the Ravens. Now, this is pretty easy. I think Baltimore is going to win this game and give me the -11.5. I truly think Baltimore is going to come out with vengeance. After they blew a 15, the fact that they scored, the fact that they were up 15 points against the Bills. Come on. You do really think Joe Flacco, and not even to mention, the Browns played the Bengals. The Bengals didn't do anything in the second half, and they still won, and the Browns only put up 16 points. The Ravens, I think their defense is going to step up. Derrick Henry, King Henry, he was playing amazing against Buffalo. Then, obviously happened Sunday, so he's going to, I think he's going to get like 2 touchdowns or whatever. Lamar's going to get a couple rushing. I don't even know. I just think Baltimore's going to absolutely mop the floor. Give me Baltimore on the prediction and the spread. Jaguars versus the Bengals. Same thing with the Bengals. The Bengals, they did nothing offensively in the second half, and they still came up with the win, only by a point. But this week, I think they're going to beat Jacksonville, and I also think they're going to cover -3.5. Giants versus the Cowboys. Give me the Cowboys and covering -5.5. If it was 6.5, like a touchdown, I would be a bit, I don't know. But I think 6 is a perfect spot. It is 2 field goals. It's not 7 points, a touchdown plus the extra point. Give me the Cowboys. Like I said, I just don't see the Giants hanging in there with the Cowboys. Bears versus the Lions. Same thing with the Lions. I think they're going to come out against the Bears. They are favored by 6.5. I'm going to take them on the spread and to predict them to win. The Bears did hang in with the Vikings there until that last quarter. They fell apart just like the Ravens did, but I think Detroit's going to come out with vengeance, and they're also at home too. They're going to feed off that crowd. Give me Detroit. Patriots versus the Dolphins. Now, both teams 0-1, division game, but give me the Dolphins to win and to cover them 1.5. I just can't see Miami losing. If they lose, I think they just got to fire Mike McDaniel, if I'm being honest, because, not only you lost to the Colts, you got absolutely destroyed against Daniel Jones. Patriots did lose against the Raiders, a lot of hype going into this season, but I just think Miami has to win, Do I think they're going to win? I don't know, but they just have to win. That's why I'm going to pick them to win and to cover. It's only 1.5 too. 49ers versus the Saints. Now, I actually did have the 49ers as my survivor team for this week until I found out about all the injuries. Obviously, Brock Purdy, George Kittle, are going to be out for a couple of weeks. I think they said Brock Purdy's out 2 to 5, and then Kittle's missing a couple of weeks, so I'm guessing like 4+ weeks. So, yeah, this is pretty much going to be the McCaffrey game. Mac Jones, I guess, too. I still think, the 49ers are going to win. I think they're also going to cover the 3.5. Bills versus Jets. This is an interesting one. The Jets, if you guys didn't watch my video yesterday, I was talking about this game, and the Jets, they're surprising me now. I'm picking the Bills to win, but I think the Jets, I don't know. I don't think the Bills are going to win by more than a touchdown. I'm leaning towards the Jets for the +6.5, but I do think the Bills are going to win. Seahawks versus the Steelers. Now, this is one of the more interesting games of the week. This is going to be a low-scoring game. I think the over-under is 39.5. If I was a betting man, I would take the under and not even pick a winner or a spread for this game. But unfortunately, I have to do both of those So I'm going to take Pittsburgh to win the game, but I think Seattle with the plus 3.5. I'm going to lean Seattle for the spread, but I'm going to pick the Steelers to win. I think if they win, they're going to win by like 2 or 3. I don't think they're going to win by more than 3.5, like more than a field goal. You know what I mean? Rams versus the Titans. Give me the Rams to win and to cover the 5.5 spread. I just think they're going to walk all over the Titans. Like I said, the Titans, they barely lost to the Broncos, but the Broncos also had like 4 turnovers that game, and they still lost. So imagine what, Matthew Stafford is going to do to this team. I just don't think the Titans are going to keep up. Carolina Panthers versus the Arizona, I almost said Diamondbacks, the Cardinals. Give me Carolina on the plus 7.5, but I do think the Cardinals will win this game. The Broncos versus the Colts, obviously Daniel Jones having probably his best game of his career, and that'll definitely be his last best game of his career. Give me the Broncos, and they're only favorites by 1.5. That's definitely a lock. The Super Bowl rematch, the Eagles versus the Chiefs. And if you're a betting man, you know Mahomes is now starting the season 0-2. Give me the Chiefs and the plus 1.5. Falcons versus the Vikings, Sunday Night Football. Give me the Vikings. They impressed me a lot. I think they're also going to cover 3.5. Yeah, I'm liking the Vikings this year. The Buccaneers versus the Texans, Monday Night Football, the first of a doubleheader. Give me the Buccaneers plus 2.5 as well. I think they're going to win the game, and I think they're also, well, obviously I think they're going to win the game, but also plus 2.5. Just something about CJ Stroud, man. Like, he had a phenomenal rookie year. He exceeded everyone's expectations. Last year kind of regressed, and I just didn't like what I was seeing from him last week. And then he obviously got Baker Mayfield. I mean, he was going to be out of the league. Tampa just gave him an opportunity, and look at him, man. I'm really liking the Bucs this game. The Chargers versus the Raiders, last game, Monday night, 10 p.m. Eastern. Give me the Chargers and them covering that 3.5 spread. And if you're still here, you're probably here for the Survivor pick pool, who I picked for my week 2. Like I said, week 1, I picked the Broncos. Week 2, I am going with the Ravens. I just think this is an absolute lock. I don't see them starting the season 0-2. Quite frankly, I just see them winning by 14+ points this week. They just have to say to their fans, I'm sorry, what we did on Sunday. I am sorry. And like I said, if they put up 40 points against the Bills, oh, mamma mia, the Browns are in for a rough run. I was actually leaning towards the 49ers, keeping, good teams like the Ravens for later. But, like I said, the 49ers, they're going through a bunch of injuries right now. So I think the safest bet this week is the Ravens. And then if you check the Ravens' upcoming schedule, I mean, you can't pick them for a couple of weeks after today. Like, if you look at their next schedule, they play the Lions, the Chiefs, the Texans, the Rams, and then they have a bye week. And then their next game against a winnable team is not till October 26th against the Bears. That is 5 weeks from now. So my mentality is, might as well pick the Ravens now, because you're not going to pick them against the Lions. You're not going to pick them against the Chiefs. I wouldn't really pick, not my favorite against the Texans or the Rams. And then they're on a bye week. So I think this is the week to pick the Ravens, get one of those teams, just get to week 3, especially if you're playing for high money here. My pool I'm in is winner take all $2,000. So, yeah, I just want to get through. So give me the Ravens this week. Next week, I'll give you guys my my parlay predictions. Well, not predictions. My parlay, who I put down for my obviously parlay, and then I'll give you guys my prediction spreads and Survivor pool, hopefully before Thursday's game. But yeah, let me know if you guys are in a Survivor pool. Let me know who you guys pick for predictions or spreads. You want to disagree with me? Go right ahead. I'll be open. I'll be replying to every comment. Until then, see you guys then. Peace.